Hi, everyone. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and I'm really glad you're joining us. We're having a really great experience with this book discussion. We are going through Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. We're doing this at a relatively slow but steady pace because we really want to embrace it, take the time to do the practice of meditating. He offers some different tools that you can find on his website, and we really want to do this together. So there's also a link to the Telegram group that you can talk with the other community members that are in the book discussion with us in the description of this video. Also, we are having a meetup in Oklahoma City coming up on April 21st and 22nd. And Bix and Amy Weir will be here, and the Pebbleton Post crew will be here. We've got Clint Westwood coming in, Bitcoin Ben, Litecoin Johnny, Litecoin. My mom, Crypto Nana, will be here. So we'd love to see you here too. We're going to be raising money for Crypto Mame. You guys, she used to be on my show on Mondays doing the crypto news with me, and she's now fighting cancer and spending time with her daughter while she's doing that. So we're going to send her some the proceeds to benefit her and help her through this time so that she can focus on getting well and being with her daughter. So appreciate any support that you can. All the information's in the description of this video. So we'll jump into Chapter 3, Tuning into New Potentials in the Quantum, right after this. Welcome back, Amy and Paige. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Thanks.
Hello,
Thanks.
hello. Good to be back.
Thank you. Thank you for the nod on my hat. I went to this rockin' concert.
I know that guy.
Got this hat. Yeah.
Nice hat. I love it.
Had to wear it. Got to support the fam that supports you, you know. It's all about community. I really liked this. It was a really short chapter, which surprised me because I got into it, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, and you're going to do some homework," and I was like, "Oh gosh, am I going to have enough time?" So I jumped ahead, and I was like, "Oh wait, it's not very long," but I took that time to break out the little book, the little gratitude journal.
Yay!
And so I did some. I kind of did both ways, and we'll get into what we're supposed to be doing and whatever. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I liked this chapter and felt like it gave you some practical application right away. I mean, we're only on chapter 3 at the beginning of the book, but it's really breaking down what energy is, what we are, the quantum, which there's a lot of debate around the quantum. What is the quantum? Is there quantum computing? I don't know. Everybody can have their own debates and decisions about all that kind of stuff. But right before we jumped on, I also said that I liked that he was talking about, he walked through step by step how to unpack yourself down to the atoms, and talked about how most atoms are, there's nothing there.
99.99999.
Yes, they're just space. And actually that they don't exist until we focus on them. That part blew my mind also. But it goes back to, where energy is focused, energy flows, or whatever that quote was that we said earlier. But it also is so in parallel with, I think, if you guys listen to Uncle Cliff's recent video about, or Substack about, is it the Army of the Undead? I think that's what he calls it. But he talks about like that you'll be standing outside yourself, and he doesn't say standing because it's basically this pulling off of And he said you'll be in a prone state with maybe your arms in different places or whatever, but this pulling off your body, you know what I mean? And getting into this quantum field, and he calls it hyperspace, is the way he describes what I would compare. They're calling the quantum field, and here he's talking more about hyperspace. In fact, I need to probably ask him if that's the same thing, but then he probably would turn around and ask me another question or say, well, that doesn't exist. I don't know.
No, you're wrong.
Yes, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
here's why.
Explain it to me. Anyway, so okay, so we should jump into this. Getting beyond your body and your environment and time. So those three things were what we were trying to get beyond this week in chapter 3. I jumped into, I think this was the particle thing. Collapsing the wave function or getting into a quantum event. And it said, but as soon as the observer looks away. So they did these studies where the researchers eventually discovered that electrons exist simultaneously in an infinite number of possibilities and probabilities. But it's only when an observer focuses his or her attention and looks for something material that the invisible field of energy and information collapse into a particle we know as the electron. That is the collapsing the wave function or the quantum event. But as soon as the observer looks away, no longer observing the electron and taking his or her mind off the subatomic matter, it disappears back into energy. In other words, that particle of physical matter, the electron, can't exist until we observe it or give it our attention. So this was about getting our mind in the right place, stating your intention, and how important that our attention and intention is for frequency and things to manifest, basically. It makes me think of if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make any sound, kind of thing?
Yep, exactly. Yep. I like how he goes into, after explaining all that about the atoms and the electrons, how if you're viewing your life from the same level of the mind every single day, anticipating a future based on your past, you are collapsing infinite fields of energy into the same patterns of information called your life. So, for example, if you think, where's my pain? Your familiar pain soon appears because you expect it to be there.
Yes.
I love how he goes into that explanation. I thought this entire chapter was like super geared towards positive thinking and just basically getting out of your own way.
Yes. The brain changes. It says when you walk through a door into the quantum field, you can't enter as somebody. You have to enter as a nobody. As only an awareness or a consciousness, a thought or a possibility. So,
which isn't easy to do. And he says that right from the beginning of the chapter. It's not something that you're just going to be able to sit down on the couch and do right away. It's like what Paige you were explaining the other day about your brain being a muscle like your butt. Yeah, no, we're buttheads. Yeah, it takes time. It takes practice. It you know, it's like going to the gym, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything takes practice in life, and especially creating new brain patterns and literally carving new pathways in the brain. The ones that are paved, it's just like, a divot in the street or a crack in the street. If large trucks keep going over it, it's just going to keep getting deeper and deeper. And the same thing happens in our brain. And so it's really our job to be the construction workers in our brain, creating those new roadways, creating those new pathways so that new thoughts and new energy can exist inside of our brain. And it's not only the only thing that we need new things to be able to travel down those pathways. And so if we're only thinking about the past, that's the only thing that can travel down those pathways. So it's really important to practice meditations like this and consistently keep working on things like this. I was actually just talking to one of our friends, little off topic, but it pertains, so follow me. He's been practicing for 15 years now how to take his brain into different wavelengths and different, GABA, delta type of brain waves. And he can now astral project and heal people in the astral plane. And one of our friends was actually attacked in the astral plane by some people who were taking people on ayahuasca journeys. And all of a sudden, he had this incredible knee pain one day, and he couldn't walk. He couldn't do anything. He had to start walking with a cane. And I mean, this guy's, 10 years older than I am. So, like, not old by
Wow.
any means.
Yeah.
And one of our friends said, well, let me check out your spirit in the astral plane. And so they slept in the same room together. The guy who was injured went to sleep. The other guy essentially like attached a cord between the two of them in the astral plane, put himself into the brainwave state that he needed to be in, and then astral projected and saw that there was an arrow in the side of this guy's knee. So he removed it, patched it up in the astral plane. And then the very next day, the guy was completely fine, could walk, jump, run perfectly. Wow. And he was previously using a cane before. So I feel like that's just a testament to this quantum level that is sometimes really hard to tap into and really hard for people to even comprehend, that there's this whole other universe outside of, our physical universe. Like they were talking about the light spectrum and how we know certain animals can view this light spectrum, but humans can't. And so I was shocked by this story. I mean, shocked in the sense of like, wow, I can't believe he's healing people in the astral. But also I just think it's so cool that people are able to tap into this. And it just really goes to show that there's so much beyond our current physical world.
Absolutely. So many of the examples of the pieces of the things that you were talking about are in this chapter, where, I mean, just part of it is the frequency thing, tuning into the frequency of healing, and also the attraction, that it's like a radio, him being able to, he's tied himself to the other person so that he could be on the same frequency, so he could hear what was going on or be connected, be on that channel, that they talk about. Let's see. There's this one part where they're talking about, getting out of our body and doing the different brain waves, the beta and the delta, and trying to be in theta, or I think it's theta or beta brain waves for healing.
It would probably be theta or delta.
Delta, okay. And then they showed this picture of the difference between coherent and incoherent brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
And, we typically live in this chaos, I think, where we're firing and trying to like protect ourselves all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so the brain can't be incoherent and connected with source and healing, and in those delta and theta healing waves, because it's always firing and connected to the meat suit and
the past.
And the past, yes. And it's always degrading, and it was about, they said, when we take our attention off the material world and begin to open our focus to the realm of the unknown and learn to stay in the present moment, the brain can work in a coherent manner. When your brain is coherent, it's working in a more holistic state and you feel more whole. And that's what Dr. McDaniel's been teaching us about, homeostasis, and how important that is, what they learned from their studies with the aloe vera, and I can't remember which old doctor, whatever, that he would say homeostasis. He learned or termed homeostasis and talked about it being important that, because it's not always about like killing bacteria in our body. That's why we have autoimmune disorders now so rampant, is because we've gotten out of homeostasis in our bodies. We need not too much and not too little, and we have a tendency to overdo everything, especially in America. And yeah, and so that balance, that homeostasis, is where we need to be for healing. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. The main job is to create of the autonomic nervous system is to create order and homeostasis, which balances the brain and ultimately the body. The more we can linger in the present moment as no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time, the more integrated and coherent our brain becomes. This is when the autonomic nervous system steps up and begins to heal the body, because our consciousness merges with its consciousness. I mean, this is like all, and Uncle Cliff's doing a new test, a new experiment about time. So this is like all just right in. I'm curious what he's going to find out with that.
And I think a big part of this is like that we're told like our story matters so much, like our life story. What's your story? And it's typically trauma based. And so we've gotten into this, we're in this time in space where everyone is like trauma bonding over, well, what is your story? What's your story? The only way to heal is to get really deep into like your emotional traumas and who you were and what your story is. And so I think we're taught to kind of bring all of that along with us. And if we don't bring along our story, no one's going to truly understand us. But with the story also comes all of the negative emotions, emotional addiction cycles, these belief patterns that like really don't serve anyone or anything in our life. It brings along the shame, the guilt, everything. And so we are consistently bringing in past energy, and then we don't know how to survive outside of our own story. And so really taking the time to dissect what that is on your own time and then move past that, it opens and creates all of this space to now exist as you want to, and as you want to show up in the world without all these past traumas. And I liked in the book how he talks about balancing the chakras and balancing these different energy centers and doing different meditations to bring these into balance. And I totally agree with that. I also think a really pivotal part of actually changing the energy within these different energy centers in our bodies are doing proactive, like tangible things in real life to actually bring these into balance. So for example, let's say you have an overactive or underactive root chakra. And so, or if you're like really controlling, or if you're more go with the flow, I would say like a go with the flow person is like an underactive root chakra. And then someone who's like really rigid and needs to know every single detail and everything's planned to a T would be like an overactive. And so finding ways to bring either of those into balance, either like for me, mine was underactive. And so now I have like a very strict cleaning schedule that I keep myself to within my house every single week. And like last week, it got a little, little chaotic and I missed a couple days, but, finding practical things that we can actually do in our day-to-day lives and not just sitting there, meditating on it, which I think is a great way to start the process. But don't forget to like do tangible things in your everyday life to really bring these chakras and like energy centers into balance. I think that's a really important part of, the holistic vibe of healing yourself from a cellular level.
Yeah, that reminds me of the, I think about, my little gratitude journal. It's like, okay, I need to do something physical to get me started to be in a mindset I'm making the time. And then before I know it, I'm not really paying attention to what I'm writing as much. Like as I leave that my physical, and I'm get more in my meditation mind, I'm not really paying attention to being there, but I needed that tool to help bridge me. I also think about when you were saying that, like, changing your environment or making a space for that. Because like I like to come sit, I got this little fuzzy blanket in my office, and I like to come sit over there on the floor, um, in my fuzzy blanket, you know what I mean, and have it be in a warm, comfy space. And so doing something physical or tangible, maybe to bridge you over there and practice those things, I think is a good thing. I also love that you brought up the victim thing, because we are so encouraged in society right now to bond through being victims, and to identify with victimhood and the past. And that's why you're entitled to be mean to other people, or, I don't know, that somebody else is not as important as you are because you were a victim. And I think that as we move out of that into this, age of Aquarius, we are going to move away from that. That's going to be part of the healing, is that people do realize that's not who you are. That may be something that happened to you. That's a story in your life, but that's not who you are. That's not your identity. And he does caution that. Actually, he says, before we go any further, I want to make sure to emphasize how important it is that elevated emotions are for this equation to work. After all, when you decide to observe a future in the quantum field that you want to manifest, if you're doing it as a victim or as someone who's suffering or feeling limited or unhappy, your energy is not going to be consistent with your intended creation, and you will not be able to call that new future into yourself. That's the past. You may have clear intention, and therefore your mind may be in the future because you can imagine what you want. But if you feel any of those familiar limited emotions, your body still believes it's in the same limited past experience. So you're drawing that past forward, and you won't move into the future. So he talks about the generous present moment, and accepting, letting go of that past and being in the generous present moment, and then manifesting that future that you want, whatever that potential is. I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
And how we can
Great.
heal ourselves through that, like we can vibrate, we can teach our bodies and energy systems to vibrate at a specific frequency and literally heal ourselves. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this knowledge has been tamped down by the powers that be. I would say especially big pharma and people that are profiting a lot off of everyone being sick. I think the more we tap into our personal power and like the power and energy that we hold as humans, it could vastly change the entire trajectory of humanity at large from this moment. And there's actually a really cool modality. It's called matrix energetics. And I first learned about this through a chiropractor who was also practicing to astral project and heal people in the quantum space and tap into more of that like Akashic record and, quantum levels of energy fields. And I'll put a link in the comment section if I can get it on my phone. But there's a book about it. It's great. There's actually a formula that's laid out in there of like how you can tap into these different quantum fields, and you can do it on yourself. You can do it on other people. And I have the book, and it is a really, you can feel it, you can do it, you can practice it. Anyone can do this. And I feel like the more people know about that, the less we have to rely on people like big pharma to fix us.
Yes. There was a part about the broadcasting and the signals that we're sending each other and the healing, the connecting and all that. And the quantum field You exist only as electromagnetic frequencies with information. So you cannot perceive them with your senses, because you left your senses behind. Remember, we left our smell, sight, sound, all of that. So your consciousness is there, and you're experiencing each other or feeling frequencies. I shouldn't even say the word feel, probably, but anyway. But you cannot perceive them with your senses as matter yet. It makes sense then that new electromagnetic signal you broadcast would attract those electromagnetic frequencies in the field that are a vibrational match. In other words, when there's a vibrational match between your energy and any potential that already exists in the unified field, you begin to draw that new experience to you. You will find that as you become the vortex to your future. So he was talking about the story where he was like helping his son manifest the job that he wanted. And then it just came up in front of him. He didn't have to it came to him. That he didn't create a resume. He didn't any of that kind of stuff. Here, I'll put it in the comments too. Paste. Thank you, Paige.
Yeah,
I entered it. Paige shared that link, so it's in there, and I'll put it in the description when we finish the video as well for anybody watching later. Because any tools we can share with each other and help everyone get better, then our consciousness raises together, right? As each drip, it's like cryptocurrency. True cryptos, anyway. as everybody buys more and more Litecoin, the more the people in Litecoin, the better Litecoin rises together. So yeah, I love the vibrational match thing, and I've seen that in my own life. If I'm around if I've been sad or negative or around certain people, then I start feeling that way too, and then I start seeing that manifest in my children, or you see the one angry person in the house and then it gets around everyone. And in the transverse, like, you can also be around all these happy people, and you can see it, feel it, and it can spread, and you can change like tuning a radio or changing the frequency of a room, or they say when somebody walks in the room, you can feel their energy, and you're going to naturally, it's all this magnets and energy and all this, you're going to draw those things, those frequencies are going to naturally find each other and balance yourself and come together. So
it's like how yawning is contagious. Like smiling is
gosh, yeah. That's a great point. So they talk about, as you learned in the previous chapter, emotion is energy in motion. Elevated emotions carry a higher frequency than survival emotions. If you want to create change, you have to do it from a level of energy that's greater than guilt, greater than pain, greater than fear, greater than anger, greater than shame, greater than unworthiness. In fact, lower vibration energy that you're feeling cannot carry the thought of your future dream. It will only carry the level of consciousness equal to those limited emotions. Therefore, if you're going to carry or perform something that's unlimited, you better feel unlimited. If you want to create freedom, you better feel free. And if you want to truly heal yourself, you better raise your energy to wholeness. The more elevated the emotion you feel, the greater energy you broadcast, and the more influence you will have on the material world of matter. The greater your energy, the shorter amount of time it takes for your manifestation to appear in your life. So I've started walking. I'm trying to strengthen my back, my legs, be healthy, all that. So I'm started walking again. And instead of having a bad attitude about it, I just get up, I put my shoes on, what hat are you going to wear today? Whatever, stick your ponytail on, I have to bring a backpack because the dogs get tired. So I throw little dogs in their little leashes, and they walk for a little bit. And then they get tired. I throw them in the backpack for the rest of the way. But otherwise, I'm dragging two little puffballs. But I'm having the mindset of, oh, what am I going to go see that's pretty today? And so I'm like either counting tulips or looking for something. Like I'm not, oh, I'm walking and I'm taking steps, like I've been run into a couple neighbors now that we see each other on a regular basis. And so I look forward to, wonder which street we're going to run into this time. I'm trying to find these positive things that and I'm manifesting that, wow, my back is really strong today. Oh, I feel good. My legs are strong, all this kind of stuff. Having that mindset, and that I'm so grateful that the weather's great today. I'm grateful that I have the freedom of time to do this. And it's trying to, because I think the grateful, when we back earlier in the, I think that was in chapter 1 or 2, when he talked about it really got me, that one chart about the scale of emotions with different energies. It was bliss was the highest emotion or energy, freedom just below that, love, joy, appreciation, and gratitude. And so I've tried to be very mindful about when I'm manifesting or thinking about myself, my body, my family, my loved ones. I'm having those words go in my head nonstop: bliss, freedom, love, joy, appreciation, gratitude. Just to stay in that, kind of like a little mantra,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So,
love to hear how much the walks have been helping you, and how I think that's just a testament to show how much mindset really impacts your everyday life, and how everything really comes down to mindset. It's like, okay, you could say, I have to pay all these bills. I have to do all of this. All of this money is leaving. Okay, well, also, like, you get to pay bills. You get to
right.
have a roof over your head. You get to have electricity. You get to go to the gym. That is a
Yeah.
luxury, to go to a gym or to get a workout in, or be able to move your body and have all of your limbs attached to your body. I had a friend, he had his leg chopped off old friend. He had his leg chopped off in a motorcycle accident, and he was
Oh gosh.
amazing athlete, and he obviously recovered and made a full recovery, but like hanging out with him day in and day out, I was like, I have never been more grateful for just both of
Yeah.
my legs. That sometimes is my biggest insecurity, is like my hips and my booty, like everything. And now I'm like, I don't care. I love them exactly as they are.
Mhm.
And I get to move them, and they move me around. And it really is that mindset shift. And I love on the walks, another addition, level up addition. Bring some gloves and bring a plastic bag, and every single piece of trash you see, pick it up. And then that
Oh
also
yeah.
impacts the community. Everyone else gets a beautiful walking space, and like, leave it better than you found it type of thing. That's
Yes.
something that I want to start implementing on my walks, because last time I was walking, I noticed the amount of trash that was around the park. And there's little kids that walk
Mm,
around, there's dogs that walk around. Like, what if they go to eat that or something? So
yeah.
that's my
Yes.
next little thing that I'm gonna try to implement on my walks, is to leave it better than I found it. But it just feels
I
good to do
love that.
things like that. And then you raise your vibration, you raise the vibration of your community, and
Mhm.
everyone lives a better, happier life.
Absolutely. So funny, because Charlie, we were just there's a gentleman that he's like, everybody knows him because he wears this same green jersey. I can't remember the football team, but he has like a green jersey that he wears over his whatever running gear or whatever. But he's clearly had a stroke or something. Like he's has a limp, and his arm is kind of up against his body or something. But he runs for miles in our town every day, up and down like a main road, and everybody kind of knows who he is. And he's, I mean, like he's like, Zach's 25 now, my oldest son, and I saw that man running before I ever even had him. And the
Wow.
other day we were driving, and Charlie's like, oh, there's Mr. Parrot, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and he's like, that's so inspiring to see somebody who's like not feeling sorry for themselves. He's not living from a place of being a victim
Right.
or whatever. He's just so grateful that, okay, part of this doesn't work, but look what else works on me. I'm not gonna give that up. I'm not gonna stop moving any parts of my body that work because, you know, I had a stroke here. I don't know. It is, and it does make you grateful. And I think it's wonderful to watch. Very cool.
Great.
What did you guys think of the path of the random generator? The little chicken experiment
Oh, yeah.
that 'cause there's another study that I was thinking of. There's something called the 101 monkey or something like that, where they will I can't remember. It's something like there was an island with these monkeys, and they'd had this one monkey do something, and then it over generations it died off, but they still would never do this one thing. Maybe it was swimming or climbing something or something. I wish I could remember that story. But it's like it was something that would not hurt them, but because this one did it one time and all of them saw him do it and get hurt or something. And so then it's like a generational, it's like these truths that we're told, you know, oh, you can't do that. Well, why not? Because no one's done it. And, you know, you can't fly. Well, why not? Well, because no one's tried and no one did it. And we were told we can't. And you better not try or you're going to get in trouble, you know? I don't know. That's what the chick thing made me think of, is that they'd only ever seen the robot mom go on one side of the cage. So they never even went on the other side of the cage.
Oh, I took it as the robot was actually being patterned by the chicks.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood it.
Of because the chicks were able to roam wherever they wanted to with the robot in the room, but then when they corned off the chicks, the robot wouldn't go past halfway from the chicks to the other side. The robot stopped eventually.
Oh, I was misunderstanding what they were saying.
Yeah. So the robot was being influenced by the chicks.
Wanting to be near the chicks.
And their energy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was the robot supposed to be a baby chick?
No, the robot was the mom.
Was the mom.
Yeah, because the chicks were born and they imprinted on the robot right away.
Okay, I guess I missed that one. Like, wait a minute, I thought I had that one figured out. You had it right. Okay, it says the study built a special kind of random event generator, a computerized robot that would turn randomly as it moved around an arena, going 50% of the time and going left 50% of the time. As a control, he first recorded the robot's path in an arena with no chicks present. He found over time the robot covered most of their arena equally. Next, he exposed newly hatched chicks to the robot. As expected, they imprinted on the robot as if it was their mother and followed it all over the arena. After the chicks had imprinted on the robot, he removed them from the arena and put them in a cage on one side. Okay. Where they could see. I thought he was saying they put the robot on one side. Okay. Where they could see the robot, but not move toward it. Then what happened next? The intention of the baby chicks to be near what they believed to be their mother actually influenced the random movements of the robot. It no longer moved all over the arena, but instead remained on half of the arena closest to the chicks. If the intent, oh my gosh. Okay, that's even weirder. So are they saying you can put intention on your Roomba?
Sure. Absolutely.
That is weird.
I totally think it's true because my Roomba goes off 3 days a week, and I usually sit in my dining room to do a lot of my work. And that thing will go through the dining room at least 4 or 5 times more than it will any other room in the house.
That's just because they're spying on you, Amy. There's cameras in them, and they're programmed to spy on you.
He just loves you so much. He just wants to be around you all the time.
Yes. Under my feet constantly. It'll get stuck underneath my chair. It's so bizarre. But no, I do agree. I really do think
Weird. Okay, I totally missed. Yeah, I missed that on it. I guess I just couldn't even. Did not wrap my brain around that when I was reading it, because that
I
is
don't think I made it
really
that far.
weird.
I was listening to the audiobook, but I think I had a little bit left, and I don't think I made it that far. But
That one's really weird.
Yeah.
Did
it's
you get to where Jace goes quantum, where he's helping him with his son's getting the job and
No, that's towards the end of the chapter.
okay.
no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This was fun. I enjoyed so you guys look into the thing and read. He does helps so his kids out surfing and whatever, like taking I don't know what rich kids do, guys takes a bonus year or something in New Zealand and surfing. Yeah. And he said, and so then he runs out of money and he calls his dad and he's like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Looks like you're ready to figure it out then. And hangs up on him. And the kid's like, oh my God. So he shows up at this shop and the guy says, well, yeah, we're trying to find an engineer to help us do new fins for surfboards. And you can like run the crew and have this great job. And so now he tests out and creates fins for surfboards. And yeah, and that's
loves his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his dad gave him a specific task before he said, you'll figure it out. He said, okay, you still have a little bit of time before that. And he said, I want you to do this, but I want you to be, serious about it. I want you to pick a letter for what you want. And he chose the letter J for job. And he said, and then I want you to write these squiggly lines around it for the energy field. And then on one side, I want you to write your intention, very specific intention. What do you want out of that job? That's like the thing. So the kid wrote, work from anywhere in the world, make the same amount of money or more. I want contracts for anywhere from 6 months to a year. I want to love what I do. And I want to be my own boss or lead my team. And then he said, on the other side of the letter, I want you to write elevated emotions. So the strong feelings. How are you going to feel when this happens? And he says empowered, in love with life, free, and grateful. And then that's what he has him. And he's like, I want you to combine these elements and change your energy to draw this new job to you. But you have to really do it. And then he did. Mm-hmm. So this was his little chart of, I hope I'm showing it right, of his job. And I thought that was cool. It reminded me of, Paige, what we were talking about in the beginning, like do that tangible thing. And meditating. Amy, you gave us some great links in the description or in the Telegram group for some meditation links that are doing that tangible thing to get you out of yourself and start doing that. Did anybody do?
So cool.
I did.
I think
one.
You can definitely. All of that is so possible. And I love hearing all of the people like within the book who heal autoimmune disorders, heal cancer, heal their backs, heal all of these things that, could have taken years or could have taken doctors years to, find anything or do anything about it. And we have so much power as individuals and as humans. And I think we were intentionally designed and built the way we are so that we were able to do those things. And it's just really important to remember who we are and remember our own power and that, it's all inside of us already.
Yes. Yeah. The gratitude thing, once again, they go back to that again. He said, it's so important for you to write it down. And it works really well. Gratitude is a powerful emotion to use for manifesting because normally we feel gratitude after we receive something. And so, Amy, what you were talking about earlier, maybe you can explain a little bit more about how maybe you've used that in your life or how you look at it. I think you do a great job with not living in the past and being present. and then explain the, if you could explain that for us a little bit about like what mindset or feelings, emotions we need to be having in the present to do this in the right way.
Yeah. I mean, gratitude is one of the easiest, like he said in the book, it's one of the easiest things to have in mind, to put in front of the actual event that you want to see happen. Because that's the frequency that the quantum field attaches to. And so but you have to stay aware of being in that mindset, and use that as like the jumping off point. If you find it hard to imagine, well, no, if you imagine walking around a new house that you're thinking about, or you're imagining, driving that new car that you want, or you imagine that your foot's not going to hurt anymore, that you can actually walk around, and then that gratitude for that actually happening should come before that event actually happens. That way you're drawing it to you faster. And yeah.
You've already received it. It's already baked in the cake. It's already planned, because time is our construct or restriction.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, which it shouldn't be, which it really shouldn't be.
Right.
But it is. Yeah. I have that same sentence that you just read. I actually have that one underlined pretty heavily in my book. So the emotional signal of gratitude means it has already happened. So, and then just staying aware. There was another part that I had. Yeah. If the moment that you stop being aware of the gratitude, then you'll disconnect from the energy of your future the moment you feel the familiar energy of the emotions from your past. So, yeah, I really,
Don't forget the action.
yes,
The
action.
Attention needs the gratitude and the action, and that'll create change within your life.
Yep.
Intention, gratitude plus action equal change. I love that.
Yes.
So I thought this was a great chapter. It really gave us some tangible things to do. Like I said, my little gratitude journal was just in the right place at the right time. So I felt like I had the right idea. That's one of those psychic leaking things, I think, that Uncle Cliff talks about, that it's like I already knew what I was supposed to be doing, and then to have these kind of tools. I like the idea of drawing the little coin, or everything looks like a coin to me right now. But
everything is crypto.
Yeah, everything's a crypto. Everything's a coin. But the little what you want, or you're manifesting or whatever. And then he said, put at least 4 intentions and at least 4 elevated emotions, and then to be mindful of, or not mind. I'm not going to use the mindful word, because you're not supposed to be part of your mind, but
aware,
to meditate on that. Yeah. To be in your awareness. So.
Live in that emotion. Live in it. Feel it and then live in it. That's the action. Yes.
I think I can do that. And I feel like I have done that. Like I've accepted things like that. It's a truth to me. Like, no, this is happening, or this is, but at the same time, I've had things where I think we get beat down by life a lot. And so we start thinking, it's not, for some reason in this world, you're considered more intelligent if you're skeptical than if you are optimistic. But in all reality, all of it's unknown and controlled by us and our outcome. So we know the truth now. Why not be hopeful? Why not be positive? Why not manifest those good things if we know that that's the truth? The truth is that we decide through our intentions and our emotional energy, what does he call it? Elevated emotion. Yeah, what our future's going to be. So good stuff. Paigey, do you guys have any good stuff headed up for the Pebbleton Post here, other than joining us in OKC here in a couple weeks?
Yes, very excited to join you guys in Oklahoma City and meet up with the crew and everyone coming to the event. These events are always amazing. And like Lisa said, freedom is up there with one of the highest, frequencies that you can potentially feel and experience right underneath bliss. So come out, join the freedom movement, feel free with all your friends, and it's going to be awesome. And as far as the Peppleton Post, we will have some new videos coming live later this week. Nothing to report on yet, but definitely give us a follow if you're on Twitter, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and click the notification bell so you're the first to know. And we appreciate all the love and support over there. And yeah, I think that's all I have to report for
Good stuff. Good stuff.
stuff.
All right. Well, Amy, we'll see you guys in Oklahoma City as well. We're excited about that.
Very much. Yeah.
That'll be great. I did see on Bix's private road, he did a reading with Jenny Moonstone, and she said, if you need to have a great uplifting experience to get to the Oklahoma City event. So I appreciated that. And they pulled some cards on it. So you guys go join the Road to Ruta private road, and you can see more of those videos. Good stuff. They were talking all about silver and what's going on too. So that was really cool. Good stuff. All right. Well, we'll see you girls next time. Thanks for joining me. I'm really enjoying this. I think this is perfect timing for people to have something positive to focus on, a way to heal each other and ourselves. So thank you.
Great.
I agree.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us on.
All right. Take care. Bye.